Olá a todos, welcome to the channel. My name is Sofia. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. In this video, I will do something slightly different than what I usually do. I usually make short videos that are very focused on specific topics that are meant to help learners to perfect their skills. Today, this video is addressed to people who are just starting their journey. And this is covering some of the essentials, some strategies, and also some keynotes about European Portuguese. So let's get started. And we start by having a little bit of an overview of who is this person on the other side of the screen. So my name is Sofia. I've been teaching Portuguese since 2019, and I also have this channel where I'm helping students to learn, and I also have a stream on Facebook where I publish about Portuguese culture. I was born in Lagos, and if you do not know where is Lagos, Lagos is located in the coast in Algarve, and Portugal is kind of divided by regions or by sections, if it makes more sense to you like this. And Algarve is this region, this section on the bottom south that goes along the whole southern coast. I was born in this small city that has been developing quite a lot over the past years. And so I grew up, I went to school in Lagos, and I also ended up working in Lagos when I grew up into an adult. And so I have been passionate since the beginning about traveling, but also about tourism. Being born in a city that is so touristic and is so driven to tourism has inspired me to understand how I could contribute to the people who are visiting my country and are really interested in my culture. And this is how I begin teaching Portuguese. So here are some tips and advices that I find it valuable and I have noticed helping students along the way. So, first of all, I understood and I have seen people who really want to learn fast. And to be honest, nothing against learning fast, but we are all adults, mostly the people that I'm teaching, we are adults, and our lives are busy. We have so many other things apart from just learning Portuguese. So I always say be patient, give credit to yourself, and give time to learn the language. Think about this way: how long did it take you to learn your own native language? And now reflect into a language that is not your first language. This adds a different level of complexity and it desires and it demands some care and attention. So set some realistic goals and think about, yes, I want to learn fast, but I also want to learn it sustainable. And this main advice that I give you is also so you can keep engaged with the language. I've noticed that sometimes setting super high and very complex goals, very demanding, overly demanding, can cause people to burn out when learning a new language. This is absolutely what I do not wish for you because let's be honest, I would love that every foreigner coming to Portugal will be able to speak the language. So let's make this journey fun and sustainable. Let's start with two main distinctions. People often question themselves, what is the difference between European Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese? Is there any difference? And the question has an answer that is Yes, they are different, there is differences, and for some of you that might have perceived one is easier than the other, you are quite right. So let's say I find it often that students pick up Brazilian easier than Portuguese, but I also don't want to make a generalization because this depends so much of your background, what is your native language, second, what other languages you know, and where are these language from, and third, also your capacity to learn new languages and how fast and easier you pick up in completely new grammatical structures or ways of speaking. So when considering which one is easier, some people say it's Brazilian, but also consider these three factors, because I have met students that have told me that they actually found European Portuguese easier. So I don't know. It depends. Each person has a different experience, but there are some facts that we can talk about that really distinguish these two languages. So let's take a look. First is pronunciation. In Portugal, we tend to swallow more vowels. This is why most of the words they actually sound shorter and faster. It is a reality. I have met so many people that told me, like, Portuguese, you guys eat vowels. It is true. When we pronounce, we sometimes swallow some of these vowels. As the opposition, Brazilian Portuguese pronounces words more openly, which is why many learners find it easier to understand at first. The second is vocabulary. Some words are different. For example, autocarro e ônibus. Autocarro in European Portuguese means bus, and ônibus in Brazilian Portuguese also means bus. So another word will be cell phone, telemóvel in Portuguese, and celular in Brazilian Portuguese. Apart from this, there is so many other words that are different. And this raises another question. It is common that a Portuguese going to Brazil will be understanding Brazilian quite easier, but the other way around, not so much. And these two factors, they play a big role. First, Portuguese from Europe, we eat vowels. So in a way, we shorten the words, which makes it for Brazilian Portuguese harder to understand us. And the second, the vocabulary is different. You might argue, so then why European Portuguese no and Brazilian not so much? European Portuguese are exposed to media, and nowadays not just television but much more different streams that present us content of all languages. But apart from this, Portugal is highly influenced by Brazilian telenovelas. So consider this, that this fact of exposition to the languages are exposure to the language is actually a key role that makes people understand and get used much faster. Then grammar. In Portugal, we still use tu as informal you and você as a more formal and distant you, whereas você is much more common in Brazil. Verb conjugations can vary slightly depending on the country. I have met some Brazilian people that actually told me in some places in Brazil, they do use tu, but in a more general context, você is much more used and accepted in Brazilian as a common expression, as with Portuguese, European Portuguese, tu in você carries a lot of nuances in terms of formality, status, or even age. And the culture and the accent. I like to say, think of it like the difference between the British and American English. Same language, but a different flavor. So this is how we can also bring Brazilian Portuguese and European Portuguese. Before we dive into the sounds of Portuguese, there are some strategies and tips that I would like to share with you if you want to keep a daily practice. First, learn to listen with your ears first. This means that you will not always understand every single word in a sentence. Instead, listen to patterns, to rhythms, to different sounds, and think of it like music. Like music, your brain is smarter than you think when it comes to picking up melodies. Saying this, listening to music is something that I often recommend. And turning on subtitles at some point can also start helping to go even deeper into your Portuguese journey. But at the beginning, focus on melodies. Think about a language like a music. Embrace your mistakes. You are supposed to make mistakes. That's how we learn. Portuguese people will appreciate your effort. Even if you say things wrong, just relax and have fun. Sometimes in bigger cities like Lisbon or Porto, what often happens is that people come with a very enthusiastic effort. I'm going to speak Portuguese. And then they start speaking some basic things, and the Portuguese answer back in English. And this causes so much frustration that some people actually give up. And I say, do not give up. First, Portuguese are also very passionate and proud that they do speak English. And sometimes this, as an opportunity for you to practice your Portuguese, is an opportunity for them to practice their English. And second, other times they really just want to help. But if you continue trying out in Portuguese, they will appreciate your effort. Practice daily, even if it's just 5 minutes. This is when it comes on handy having a workbook. For some people listening music, I often advise flashcards. I do have some flashcards. You can check on my bio. I have a link to Gumroad that you can download free flashcards. So anything that you can quickly just take a look onto every day for at least 5 minutes will be super valuable. And be aware of pronunciation and rhythm. European Portuguese has a very specific rhythm. We tend to swallow vowels, and sometimes it feels like we are speaking super fast or dropping syllables. That's normal. You will get used to the flow with time. And remember, you are not meant to understand everything right away. Let go of the pressure and enjoy the process. Now, let's go to the juice of our Portuguese learning. And we start with what I called survival phrases. So, these are the absolute beginners essentials to get started speaking right away. So, repeat after me. Olá. Hello. Bom dia. Good morning. Boa tarde. Good afternoon. Boa noite. good evening, or good night. Let's do it again. Olá. Bom dia. Boa tarde. Boa noite. Bom dia is used until lunchtime. Boa tarde until sunset. And boa noite after dark. Politeness. Portuguese people really appreciate good manners. So repeat after me. Por favor. Please. Obrigado if you are a man. Obrigada if you are a woman. Both meaning thank you. Desculpe. Sorry. Com licença. Excuse me or pardon me. Let's repeat again. Now just Portuguese. Por favor. Obrigado. Obrigada. Desculpe. Com licença. First questions, useful for making your first contacts. Como te chamas? What's your name? De onde és? Where are you from? Fala English. Do you speak English? You can answer sim, yes, or não, no. Sim ou não. Now let's go into the sounds of Portuguese. One of the biggest differences between Portuguese and other languages is how it sounds. Let's train your ear and tongue to get used to it. Let's start with the nasal sounds. So these sounds are very common in Portuguese and they can feel strange at first. You will feel them resonate mostly in your nose and throat, not just in your mouth. So let's practice slowly. Pão, não. First sound is pão, bread, não, no. Mãe, mother. Põe, he or she puts. Bem, algum, some. Let's repeat again, and a tip is try humming lightly as you say them. That nasal vibration is part of the sound. Let's repeat again. Pão, mãe, põe, bem, algum. Now the trickier consonants. These are essential to sounding natural in Portuguese. There are also sounds that for a lot of people they struggle because it doesn't exist in their language. First one is L. It's an LH. And it sounds like li in million. For example, trabalhar, to work, filho, son. So we have L. L, trabalhar, filho. N is an NH. Sounds like a N with the till, like in Spanish. For example, manhã, morning. banho, bath. So we have lhe e nhe. Then we have r, that is pronounced like a strongly throat H, a bit like a Spanish J. For example, correr, to run, carro, car. Roll your tongue a little bit, almost like you're breathly growl. So let's repeat again. Lhe, trabalhar, nhe, manhã ou banho, r, carro. Let's do a mini practice drill. So repeat after me. First, we're going to do slowly, and then we're going to increase the pace, and then the third one, we're going to say fluently. Não, mãe, filho, trabalhar, correr, banho. Não, mãe, filho, trabalhar, correr, banho. Não, mãe, filho, trabalhar, correr, banho. Now the essential verbs. So if you haven't arrived there, perhaps you have already, you will find out the first verbs you learn in Portuguese are ser and estar. These both mean to be. And this is one of the first obstacles that a lot of people, especially native English speakers, found. Because in reality, what we split in two verbs is just one verb in your language. So Portuguese has two ways to say to be, but don't worry, just start by getting used to feel of each one. Ser is for what something is, as a more permanent identity origin thing, and estar is for something, for how something is. This is more about the temporary state or location. Let's see some examples, because ser, as a more permanent identity verb related, I can use, for example, to present myself and say, eu sou a Sofia. I am Sofia. Estar, as a more temporary state or location, I can use, for example, to say, estou cansada. I am tired. And we have some regular verbs like ar, verb ending in ar, like falar, to speak. And it will be conjugated in this way. Eu falo, tu falas, ele, ela, você fala, nós falamos, eles, elas, vocês falam. Practice with just eu e tu for now. Let's keep it simple to what you really need to start. And let's build simple sentences that can be actually very useful for first real Portuguese phrases. Eu falo português. I speak Portuguese. Tu falas inglês. Do you speak English? Não falo espanhol. I do not speak Spanish. Falo só pouco. I speak just a little bit. Repeat them slowly and then again at a natural speed. If you aren't sure how to pronounce these sentences and you need to see them written, take a look into the description of the video. You will find these sentences there. I will write this in the description. Now let's look at real life contexts and let's practice some real situations like at a café on the street or on the shop, where Portuguese actually becomes useful. First is at the café. And let's say you walk into a small cafe in Lisbon and where you want to order something and try to interact in Portuguese. So repeat after me. Queria café, por favor. I would like a coffee, please. Mais alguma coisa? Anything else? É tudo. Obrigada. That's all. Thank you. Quanto é? How much is it? A conta, por favor. The bill, please. Let's repeat again. Queria café, por favor. Mais alguma coisa? É tudo. Obrigada. Quanto é? A conta, por favor. Use obrigado if you identify yourself as male and obrigada if you identify yourself as female. Now asking for directions. Onde fica a estação? Where is the station? É longe? Is it far? Vira à esquerda. Ou vira à direita. Turn left or turn right. Siga em frente. Go straight. Let's repeat again. Onde fica a estação? É longe? Vira à esquerda. Vira à direita. Siga em frente. Now in the shop or in the market. You want to buy something? Let's try these sentences. Quanto custa? How much does it cost? Queria comprar isto. I would like to buy this. Tem outro tamanho? Do you have another size? Aceita cartão? Do you take cards? A bonus tip. In Portugal, cash is still common in small shops. Let's repeat the sentences again, but now without the translation. Quanto custa? Queria comprar isto. Tem outro tamanho? Aceita cartão? Let's recap all the essential phrases that I have shared with you in this video. Olá. Hi. Bom dia. Good morning. Boa tarde. Good afternoon. Boa noite. Good evening or good night. Por favor. Please. Obrigado. If you are a man. Obrigada. If you are a woman. Both meaning thank you. Desculpe. Sorry. Com licença. Excuse me or pardon me. Como te chamas? What's your name? De onde és? Where are you from? Falas inglês? Do you speak English? Eu falo português. I speak Portuguese. Tu falas inglês? Do you speak English? Não falo espanhol. I do not speak Spanish. Falo só pouco. I speak just a little. Queria café, por favor. I would like a coffee, please. Mais alguma coisa? Anything else? É tudo. Obrigado or obrigada. That's all. Thank you. Quanto é? How much is it? A conta, por favor. The bill, please. Onde fica a estação? Where is the station? É longe? Is it far? Vira à esquerda. Turn left. Vira à direita. Turn right. Siga em frente. Go straight. Quanto custa? How much does it cost? Queria comprar isto. I would like to buy this. Tem outro tamanho? Do you have another size? Aceita cartão? Do you accept card? Congratulations! You have just made it through your first mini lesson of European Portuguese. I'm very proud of you, and let's quickly go over what you have learned and how you can keep up with the momentum going. So first, we covered mindset. We learned to listen with our ears, to practice daily, and to embrace mistakes. We talked about some survival phrases like greetings, politeness, and key questions, and the unique sounds of Portuguese, and how to say when you speak and ask to others, like nasal vowels, tricky consonants. Then we also saw some simple structures of questions, like in real world language at cafes, direction, or shopping interactions. And now you might arrive at a point, hopefully, where you feel enthusiastic about continuing your journey and how to keep going. So first, like I mentioned, practice a little bit every day. Even just 5 minutes of listening, repeating, or reading helps more than you think. I highly recommend you can just go over, for example, my shorts or even through music and just dedicate a little bit of time every day. You can also follow me on Instagram with the same name of the channel, Learn Portuguese with Sofia. You can download free flashcards that I have designed in Portuguese sofia.gumroad.com, or you can join one of my private classes or conversational practices. And for this, whether on Zoom or some other apps, we can arrange. Just email me to info@learnportuguesewithsofia.com. If you are ready to go deeper and more intensively, you can first check my courses. Specifically, I made some courses for beginners. You can do them at your self-paced, or you can also drop me your information in my email, and I can let you know when is the next cohort happening. So thank you so much for spending these half an hour with me, and starting a new language is a bold step and you have already done it. So I'm very happy for you. Whether you remember 10 or 90%, what matters is that you show up. Keep going. Let's trust the process. Rewatch the video again. You can write down some essential keys for you. I personally really like the writing down because it helps me to memorize as well. It depends. Some people, they work better with just repeating out loud. So test different strategies and see which one works for you. If you have learned languages before, you might find some patterns that really work across languages. We find often that we always have one specific thing that we do across learning languages, which is very related to our own method of learning. So if you do have this experience, take a look back and remember how it was, what felt better to you, what felt more supportive, and try again, test it if it still works, if it needs some adjustments. I'm here to help you, and I'm here to encourage you to speak the language, not just to go and live in Portugal, but also to embrace the culture and communicate with the locals. So when you are ready, come say hi either on Instagram, by email, or here on the YouTube, on the comment box below. And stay tuned. I appreciate so much your time and attention to see this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon. Até já.